Out of all the films to have been delayed constantly throughout the past year, Denis Villeneuve's new sci-fi blockbuster might just be a redefinition of the term. This is my review of Dune. We follow the mythic and emotionally charged hero's journey of Paul Atreides, a brilliant and gifted young man born into a great destiny beyond his understanding. He must travel with his family to the most dangerous planet in the universe, Arakis, where malevolent forces clash in conflict over the most sought-after supply in the universe, spice. Now, before I properly start with my review, I want you to start the conversation down in the comments below. Anything and everything about Dune, if you're excited for the Denis Villeneuve's film, if you've seen it, if you've seen the old adaptations, and if you've read the book, anything and everything down there. Start the conversation because it's always the most important part. And if you like what you see here, consider clicking that subscribe button so you do not miss any future conversations about your favorite movies and TV. Right off the bat, there's going to be a new stereotype, and that is to call Dune big or massive or enormous or gigantic. But that stereotype will come from the truth, because every shot in this film is brimming with enormity. It is a gargantuan feat what Denis Villeneuve accomplished with this film. I know that seems hyperbolic, I know that seems overly exaggerated, but that's how it comes across. Denis Villeneuve has a constant and unique sense of scale. He shoots this film to look massive with every single shot that he pressed record on when shooting this. There is a purpose to every single thing that we see in this film, from the ships to the landscapes to the big planets to the ships that are smaller compared to other ships to the vehicles that are enormous but then small compared to sandworms, for example. And all this time, in all of these shots throughout this entire film, you see all these big landscapes and buildings and vehicles, and you see how small humans are. So then he smartly juxtaposes this, and when you have more intimate, dramatic, fueled scenes where we have close-up shots of our actors and our characters having conversations, it's all the more impactful. You feel all the more immersed, not only in these grand swooping shots that look beautiful. The cinematography in this film is insane, not only because it looks beautiful, but because you just know there's a lot of CGI involved, but you can't tell. There's not an inkling of bad visual effects in this film. Everything just looks so seamless and so perfect and so like it was all shot on camera. Villeneuve's world building in Dune is delivered with complete conviction, making you accept the parameters, the rules of the world. And not only that, but he's so interested and develops so much the relationships between characters in this film. Yes, it's awesome to have this whole geopolitical conflict that is so interesting and so thematically depth and rich, but the relationships of these characters are so interesting to watch from the beginning. You get a sense that everyone talks to each other differently. That makes these characters stand out so much. Leto Atreides talking to Paul Atreides will be a completely different conversation and with different inflections than Leto Atreides talking to Duncan Idaho or Gurney or Lady Jessica. And Villeneuve feels like he's playing his own political game when he has these relationships unfold on screen and these dynamics. Which brings me back to those close-up shots, those more intimate moments between characters that stand out so much and are so well done. The performances in general are stellar. This whole cast is fabulous. But they are very different performances than what you expect from a big sci-fi blockbuster. And granted, Dune in general is a very different type of sci-fi blockbuster, but it is one nonetheless. Timothée Chalamet's Paul Atreides is the heart and soul of this film. So much from him is said without even saying a single word. He's one of the most understated actors working today, one of the best understated actors working today. They can say so much just with a glance, with a look, with the way he breathes in between words. And you can notice that in every single performance in this film. There is so little to be said about how characters interact in this film. It's all in the interactions themselves. And I think Denis does a great job in trusting the audience with those performances. And I talked about how this is such a massive film in scope. It's enormous in scale too. It has a great sense of that and feel as well. As the story unfolds, you get more intimate with these characters, but you also see more of the forest for the trees. Not only that, one of the things that I loved about how Denis drives his story forward, not only with the characters and with those relationships at play, Hans Zimmer's score might just be his best work yet. I am not exaggerating, but it feels like Zimmer himself through his music pushes the story and these characters forward through their decision making, which I found so interesting and riveting. I think it's also important to note that you should not go into Dune thinking it is an action sci-fi epic. It is a sci-fi epic. It has action, and when the action is there, it's equally glorious and grandiose and visceral and brutal. But this is a drama. This is a social, geopolitical drama with religious undertones and overtones, and it's essentially the story of the One, talking about a messiah, but it is not an action film. In my opinion, all the better for it, but just be prepared. It's definitely what you would call a slow burn of an epic that makes you feel the magnitude of each and every step and decision that the major characters that are at play in the story make. Dune is a glorious and awe-inspiring achievement from Villeneuve. As far as epic sci-fi storytelling is concerned, there is no other film like this, for better or worse. It is divided into two parts, but this one really tells its own story just as a part of a bigger story. I was reminded why I love big sci-fi fantasy films, and it certainly won't be for everyone, but it certainly was for me. I'm giving Dune an A+. And so those are my thoughts on Denis Villeneuve's Dune, but I want to know your thoughts on it. Drop them all down there in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. I'll be back very soon with the LFF coverage that starts tomorrow. And if you like what you saw here, make sure you consider clicking that subscribe button so you'll stay aware of every conversation about your favorite movies, your favorite TV shows, and of course the LFF 2021 coverage. Thank you so much once more for watching. You are the best. I'll see you very soon, and until the next one, love each other and love the movies.